Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here. I'm with Michael Sanz. This is the Outsourced PM podcast show, and we're getting right in deep with executive assistants based remotely. Now, in the last couple of episodes, episode 33, we really dug in deep. Why would you want an executive assistant? There was a quick call there, or in fact, my executive assistant, Beverly, joined us. And she didn't even know she was being recorded, and you can hear how well she handled the task that I literally threw at her. In the last episode, we talked about, where do we get them from? What are the types of people that you're looking for? And in this episode, Michael, let's just get into the recruitment process. Now, in Manila, you and Dennis have now done a couple of these. You've done the real estate virtual assistant seminar where you just invite people to come in to talk to them about working for an Australian or New Zealand or United Kingdom real estate office, what to expect. You went through culture and slang and tasks and all of this stuff as an information session. But Michael, in the first one that you did in 2020, you saw Bev there. And of course, Bev is now the IGT EA. She backs me up. Why did Bev stand out? What caught your eye with Bev out of the 70 people, the 50 people that were there?
We ran these events because we wanted to see who the best people, who some of the best people, the motivated people that were out there. We got, hundreds and thousands of resumes that would come through. People have no idea what real estate in Australia is like. And so we wanted to firsthand get in front of as many people as possible and tell them exactly what we look for in Australia and if people want to apply for jobs with Australian real estate agencies, these are the things that you have to know. And we give them a certificate. Now, for Dennis and I, we wanted to be in a room where we could meet people and look people in the eyes and see their mannerisms and how they work in a team environment and how they contribute. And we're looking for, like we've said in another episode, about that human quality in people. And Bev stood out. I think from that group, we had maybe 3 or 4 people that we employed, putting them on a trial basis, and Bev stayed. Bev was dedicated. She was focused. She communicated well. She got on well with the team. She let us know when she was nervous about different tasks. One of the things I love about Bev is that every time we've gone to give her more responsibility, she said no. She said, no, I'm happy with what I'm doing because I'm doing it well, and I'm scared if I take on more responsibility, I'm not going to do it to the level that I'm doing this task at. And every time we've given her that, she said the exact same thing, and she stood up to the plate every single time. And, so she identifies what her own weaknesses are, but she always kind of said, okay, fine, I'll do it. Michael, if this is what you need me to do, I will do it. And she did it, and she does it. And now she's your executive. And
she does it. She just does it. She doesn't complain, and she does have a query she'll ask, which is great. But she just does it so well and confidently. And if I see that she's stressed, we'll have a chat about it or whatever. But she's just really, really good.
Yeah, and we've done another one of those Reba events, and I think we had 70 or 80 people in the room. And Dennis and I are enthusiastic. We love it. The people were great, like they're a great group. But we didn't hire any of them. We had probably 20 or 30 applications from them, but we didn't hire because we're looking for a certain quality. Maybe we are too, we're too fastidious when we're looking for certain people. But again, we're not like other outsourcing providers out there that will just hire someone to put a bum on a seat. We want human. We want them to be able to answer the phone and problem solve and so on. Do you get it right every time? Not every time, but our success rate is a lot higher than
very high. Yeah, it's very, very, very high. It's no different from hiring staff on the ground in the office. It's the same process. Okay, Michael, you get a call from someone, they chat to you about they want an executive assistant as opposed to a virtual assistant for their team. They want someone for themselves. And they go, all right, let's do it. What's the next step, Michael? Where does the recruitment process start?
So we have quite an in-depth recruitment process, and I guess we always post new jobs every Monday because they keep going up, and we have different type form questionnaires every time we post a new job so that we know the success rate of every single ad that goes up, gets posted. We know exactly the response type, and who is out there in the marketplace. Now, there's about 28 questions, a questionnaire type form that people need to complete, and that includes, their CV, uploading a video file, audio file, everything that we need. Our HR team goes through everyone that applied, but we only really look at those that have completed the attention to detail questions. Those that haven't gone through and done that, they don't get a look in.
Automatic eliminated. Yeah. That's really good that you test them really early on their attention to detail.
Or automatic. And then from that, once they get approved to go through from the attention to detail questions, they then go through into a group interview with HR. And HR would be like HR, the general manager, operations manager, and the group of people that have been selected. We do a group environment interview because we want to know how people are when they're working together. And in a group interview, people think that they're all fighting for one job. And so it's interesting to see who's trying to be more dominating and who's trying to be more quiet and a bit stand behind everyone. I'm not looking for someone that stands behind everyone, but I'm just looking for someone to be themselves in that interview and not be embarrassed when I say, Darren, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and, what drew you to Teams by Design? Those that make it through that round, through that stage, then go through to a one-on-one with HR, right? Which is always interesting. And a lot of people think, oh, okay, I'm going through to my final interview. But if they make it through that, then they go through to a one-on-one speed dating interview with me. Now, by this stage, again, they've had 3 or 4 different interview stages and part of the process is there just to get to this point. There is sometimes another layer in between that when they're looking at the UK team. We have another interview with our head of UK before I meet them to see if he's happy for them to qualify to join his team. And the speed dating interview is a really relaxed, informal catch-up, Darren. Like, I want to know, where do you live? What have you been doing? What do you do for fun? What drew you to Teams by Design? And one of the most interesting things people say is, I've seen your social media. I've seen how you treat your team members. I've seen how much fun your team have, and I want to be part of your team, right? Which is really lovely. But then they'll tell me about where they live, and I know geographically where a lot of them are placed. And I know that on resumes are made to look good and impressive, but I've learned pretty fast how to interpret the resumes and what is relevant and not relevant. And I let people know, hey, this is really informal speed dating catch up, right? I've got a number of people I'm meeting today, and I appreciate the time you're giving me. Let me know more about yourself. And then they start talking. Now, first thing I look for is, what's their accent and their English like? That's the first thing I listen for. Like I said numerous times, I don't want an over-enthusiastic Telstra or BT operator or Spark operator. Like, I want someone that can speak fluent English and is happy and has a really good attitude. The second thing I look at is exactly that, their attitude, and are they coachable? Because real estate is ever-changing policies, processes, procedures, new CRMs. I need someone that's not set in their ways, or once they find a set routine that they're really hard to adjust out of that routine. I need someone that can move. I mean, we have a client, and they were with a previous company who was reputable, well known, but for them to make any change to their workflow process, and bear in mind, the client had no control over the workflow process. That was created by the other company, that if they wanted to make any changes, there was a 30-day lead time. And they could only make that change if they were currently doing that task. Now, this company wanted to do a sales task, and so but they hadn't started it yet. And so the other outsourcing company said, we can't make any changes yet until you go live with that task and you show us how you want it done. And then there's a 30-day lead time. So I've said to our client, well, if you want to make a change, it's changed. Like, it's your rules. So we look for people that have a good attitude and they're coachable and they listen to instructions. The third thing that I look at then is, what's their previous experience? Because you're not going to find people that have got American, yes, but not Australian or New Zealand or UK real estate experience. And even if they've got American real estate experience, Darren, I don't hire them, because how they expect to do real estate there is very transactional, order taking, and we want someone that is relatable, human, that can build relationships. And that's fine how it's done in America, But as you know, Darren, like we're the largest secret shopper company in the US and UK and Australia and New Zealand. And we deal with a lot of people who answer the phones in America, and it is terrible.
It's terrible.
They outsource them to message taking services. So, so we look at what's their previous experience like and how can we relate it to the tasks that we need. And then if I'm happy from that, they'll go into our training pool. Now, once I've said okay to the person, I'm happy for them to meet our potential clients. And that's when I'll introduce you to a couple of people, Darren, and you can say, yep, I actually, because at that point it's, will you now get along with the client? Is the personality going to be right? Can you deal with each other? And, they, in principle, they would all be good for you, but can you build a relationship with them? And that's where you get involved. But you don't have to say yes to the first person. I'm still keeping them and I'm putting them through training. Now, our training, do you want me to go through our training, Darren?
Well, we'll do an episode on that, but just touch on it for sure.
Our training is bespoke. We have like a learning management system, and depending on the skills and the tasks that they need to do, then that's the courses that they will follow. And this is something, Darren, that I didn't have when I first started TBD. It was very like my instructions, my workflow, my processes, my training. But over the years, we have harnessed it. Like we have creative team training. We've got accounts administration. We've got people that are on the phone training. We've got everything drilled down, niche down. We've got how to create process maps. So if I needed you to do process maps, you go through that training. Darren, you've got Anne, who's been working with you for quite a while, had no experience on ClickFunnels. So what we were able to do was give her a base level training on ClickFunnels, enough to know how to get started and what to do. And now she's like hacking out funnels for you and like other people.
And right now she's building out Active Campaign, which is a well-known email marketing platform, CRM. And we're transitioning from the current provider to that. She's learning that really, really fast. She already knows Keep, which is the Infusionsoft version. They're just really, really fast learners, because a lot of this stuff, you'll be able to find any video on YouTube on how to do something with the Infusionsoft or Active Campaign or ClickFunnels or whatever, but give that to an Australian and say, there's 10 videos on YouTube for you to learn. They're not going to do it, but these people will, and they'll study it until they master it.
100%. And they, a lot of people in the Philippines, they learn 90% of what they're doing off of YouTube or off video. And repetition and live tasks. So, but we make sure that, if they're going to be doing a particular task, we want to make sure they haven't got any disadvantages and they can get into it and learn. And if I haven't got a course available for someone, Darren, I go out and find one and buy it for them. Simple as that. And we have Christmas coming up and there's a quiet period. And they say, what should we be doing? And I said, learning, upskilling. You've got hundreds and hundreds of hours of training available to you. And we create a training plan for them.
Yeah, so you've certainly got all the resources there. So look, Michael, you've got to, okay, so you've got the right, right person now. What's the next step with the client? Once you've got a person that you want to present to the client, what are the next steps? What's involved? How involved is the client in the actual recruitment process?
Yeah, so whilst we're doing all the interviewing and the hiring and so on, what also happens is the client has a strategy meeting with myself, which normally happens at the start, but then they have a meeting with our HR team and, who basically runs everything. And they work out exactly what are the tasks you want to finesse about, what exactly do you need, and we'll make sure that we're looking for that person. Now, in the meantime, I encourage the clients to record all the tasks that you're doing on a Loom or a Zoom video. As you're doing them in normal setting, just have the Zoom on, press record, and then give us those files so that as we're doing the training of your new team member, they can see how you want things done. Because whilst, let's say, property management, it's similar across the board, but how each office tackles property management is uniquely different to each office. They've got their own processes, their own note-taking rules. So we want to know that. So if you said, oh, Michael, I thought you knew everything about property management, or I thought they came fully inbuilt with everything about property management, We do a lot of the training, but how you want things done and your nuances, we need
Always different. It's always different. Michael, here's another one for you. And I saw someone made a comment the other day, an executive assistant just takes too long to train. What's your response to that?
It only takes as long as is needed to get the task done, right? Like the benefit of going with us is that we help people with their training. So it's somewhere between that 2 weeks and 6 weeks, I think, really, when they're kind of bedded down.
There's a learning curve, of course, but the alternative, if you say, well, it just takes too long to train, well, it just means you're going to continue doing that task over and over and over and over and over and over again forever, and it's just going to grind you down. So you talk about time banking, Michael, that you've got to record that task. And now you don't need to be training someone that task because it's done, it's recorded. All they have to do is learn from the video. And of course, with Filipino people, they're very happy to learn, study, and master the skills they need from your videos. So you just got to bank up your tasks on how things are done on your videos, get them loaded to YouTube in an unlisted or a private link or whatever, so they're not publicly available. And there's your library of training. It's such a simple thing, as long as you're willing to record how you do things on every level, and then you've got a recording forever.
And we have the benefit too, Darren, of working with so many other clients on so many tasks. The team member, that your actual team member can sit with another one of our team members doing those tasks and becoming more familiar with it. We have someone at the moment who's studying for after-hour phone calls, and they're learning the property maintenance matrix. They're listening to phone calls. They're seeing emails, how maintenance is being done. I even have been calling out randomly, pretending to be a tenant, requesting maintenance to be done. And it's amazing when you have role playing. I mean, Darren, I haven't even mentioned in our team that we have a QA team that listen to every single phone call. They help do role plays. When we actually onboard new people, they go through a live setting role play, like a live call role play. They're given notes on a certain characteristic of a task. And then with no experience, they get thrown live into a role play call, not live with a live client, but someone rings them and says, hey, I'm a tenant, or I'm a landlord, or this is my problem, I need help. And we put the pressure on, so we get them to actually practice.
So with a client and taking on a new EA, they're not going to, they're going to have full involvement in the process. You'll be able to meet them, they'll be able to hear them, they're going to have full involvement. And I know, Michael, you talk about other companies that they won't even allow people that type of involvement in the recruitment process.
No, they can't meet them before they start. They don't, they can't have them do any other tasks other than ones prescribed. There's no bespoke element to it. So I think it's really important, especially if you're a business owner and you're looking to get an executive assistant, that you have someone that, has a good comprehension of English, that their attitude is the right attitude, and that the skills that they have had previously are transferable and relatable to what you need. And then they're an open book, Darren. You can imprint whatever tasks you need.
So the point is, everyone, you're never going to employ someone you're not comfortable to work with. And that's really important when it comes to employing an executive assistant. It's going to take the weight off your shoulders and be your wingman. There needs to be the right person, and you need to spend time with that person before you say yes or no. So, Michael, the next step really is, people need to have a chat to you further. What's the best and quickest way that people can get in contact with you?
Yeah, best way would be go to our website, tenantsbydesign.com, contact us, and just drop us a note. We'll book in a time to catch up, and we can workshop any of the questions and queries that you've got. And I tell people, Darren, think of the hairiest, scariest outcome that you want to achieve, and let's problem solve it.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, well done. Thank you so much, everyone. And don't forget, go back and listen to episode 33, where I bring in our executive assistant, have a chat to her. She didn't know she was being recorded, but you'll see how good they are and how competent they are as well. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.